Okay, so this morning I was going to, Nancy and I were chatting a little bit, and one of the things we're noticing that we're having some great success with now is to kind of re-engage the planning session and really engaging what it means to sit down with your new people and, get them to understand what they're looking for with their Valentus business, what we're looking for and how we can help them with their Valentus business. And, it's truly, as much of you have been listening on many of the training calls recently, a lot of us are resetting. A lot of us are going back now and realizing that we didn't do things quite right. We didn't really give people an understanding of what they had here at Valentus, and so we didn't really open up the door properly to let them succeed. So for today's call, I'm going to work with a couple of people live online here and ask them to work with me on my why sheet and really show you the connection you can make with people and how I recommend you do that with your new people. So for those of you that are new on the call, the most important thing to understand is that we do have a getting started manual now. We do have a daily method of operation to follow. And, that file section is in the Team Gets Results files. You can print that off. We've added something to that this week. We've added the 14th element to a point system, which is now giving points for actually using our products. If you use all 7 of them or 8 of them on a daily basis, that would mean you would be getting 8 points a day. If you're a team working as a couple, obviously that would mean you could potentially get 16 points a day. And it's all about the activity. It's all about the activity that you do, and being a product of the product is important as it is sharing it. Because if you get your belief system up and comfortable with the products, I think you're going to have that much more success. So to really understand how you can help somebody, you have to kind of get an idea what they're looking for. So we don't just use the word, what is your why? The term, what is your why, is very broad, very generic, very to me, it's something that is so easy just to turn the page like a newspaper ad. You don't really spend the time you need to spend on it, and I don't think that you concentrate as much on what that person needs from you understanding the why. So the 3 questions that we ask in our planning session is the fact that we want to know why you need more time and why you need more money and why you need better health. It's not just what's your why. In the past, people have stood up on stage, Nancy included, said their why, and it was powerful. So, Nancy, if you want to just share right now, we'll start off with you, and I think it's just kind of to let everybody understand. We're going to, a couple of minutes of we got 4 or 5 people who are going to share with me today, and I've got Peggy DeSalle joining us as well, which I'm really excited to have her share with you. Nancy, what is ultimately if I'm sitting with you as a planning session? And so why do you need more time? Why do you need more health or better health? And why do you need more money? Can you just share with everybody just kind of your planning session with me right now if we were doing that?
Well, I think that, and we've said this on so many different occasions, Don, that your why is kind of an evolving thing. But for me, when I first started and when I talked about this to people, the reason why, when I was standing there thinking about why we had first got started, before we've actually had all this personal growth that's gone on, was that I came from a community where people went to a job where there was a chance that they weren't coming home from that. And it was always said that they were paid accordingly, but are you ever paid accordingly to give the ultimate gift or price of your life? Going to a job knowing that the circumstances were dangerous. And when you live in a community that's bred on fear, it's amazing how people compensate. They make excuses. They make it all right for one reason or another, because you have to. When you're kind of in a town that has it's a one-horse town, that's what you do. And so for me, one of the reasons why, when we were originally getting into this, is I would love, from a place of people living in fear, to have options. And I thought that Valentus was that option, that it was a better way, that it was giving people more time, more money. As we've gone along now, Don, and we've been involved in this company for a few years, my why has changed for a lot of different things. A lot of different reasons. I see young people, our son included, that are coming through traditional education school system with no promises of a future as to what direction they want to be in or what they want to do. And I just think that network marketing in its entirety is a better way. And so my why is really evolve differently. I would love to set an example for him to show him that this is a viable option, and that's sort of what we've been doing, is setting that example for him. And so my why has been not only a leadership role in this company, but a leadership role as a parent. And I think that that's one of the whys. And you and I have never had the opportunity where we could go and work on something together. Don't get me wrong, you have the opportunity to be out on the road a lot more than I do, because last time I checked, we're not allowed to tie our children in the backyard to a tree. But I do stick around here to do that whole making sure that they have someone to plug into here a little bit more. But this is the first thing that we've ever done, and I consider the time that we're away working quality time, because it's with you. And in the past, you would go to Toronto or you would go on your business trips, and it never involved me. And I remember feeling very removed from whatever your daily life was or whatever it was that you did. And then you would come back and I would say, so how did that go? And you'd be overwhelmed with everything that you had done. And so I would get a one-word answer of good or fine. And it made me feel really disconnected from you. And so my why now is that we get to do this together.
And one last little point I'll make before I move to our next person to share. And the planning session here for me is I'm making notes. And so I'm making notes on what Nancy's connection to the fear involved in a fear situation, and being part of something together as a couple is her big why. And yesterday she called me out of the blue and just said, hey, you know what, I just want to thank you. And I said, for what? She said, because I don't have to go to the grocery store on Saturdays when it's so busy. And I get to do this during the day when it's not as busy. And I thought, wow, that's an interesting why. That, you know, she's just sort of appreciative of the fact that she has some time freedom. And so, you know, Nance, that's what we do together, and it's awesome. So thanks for sharing this morning. We've got a few others to go through.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So why don't I just jump right over to Allison Smith. Allison, I'm going to unmute you here. Allison's from Calgary. You know, you've been a successful business person, make, you know, six figures and lots of different things you've done, top performer, and yet you found Valentus, and you found it for lots of reasons. And I've heard you tell your story about your daughter and how, you know, having the products work so well with her has just been so important to you. But ultimately, Allison, can you share in our planning session, you know, why you need more time, why you need more money, and why you need better health in a couple of minutes with us?
Sure, Don. Sure, I'd be happy to do that. So a couple of things. So first of all, the reason why I do this is because I've been very fortunate in my life, but I really wanted to be able to have the ability to additionally help my mom in particular, and then that would trickle down also to my family. So, and the reason being is that I grew up in a really, really, we didn't have a lot. My sister, brother, and I all had to get jobs when we were 12, so we could, you know, buy our own clothing. You know, if we wanted to go see a movie with our friends, be able to pay for all of that. So anyway, so I wanted to be able to help my mom be able to help tick off her bucket list. So she's never traveled an awful lot, and so over the last, you know, little while, I've been able to help her. So she just came back she went to the Holy Land, and that was a big thing on her bucket list, and she's been traveling on a really big trip every year. So that was the one major thing to help my mom make her happy. From a time perspective, for me, it's my son lives in Japan, and I have a feeling my daughter is also going to be living somewhere overseas. So after being packaged out 4 years ago, I was thinking, okay, I have to be able to do something that is portable for me to do anywhere, some sort of career. And so I was looking for something, and nothing kind of came along until Valentus. And so I thought, I can do this anywhere. So if that means that I want to be able to see my kid in Japan, I can pick up my stuff, my phone really, and my headset and my iPad or whatever it is, find some Wi-Fi, do my business. So that's been able to allow me to do that and, you know, be able to be portable. So that's amazing. The biggest thing for me, though, is the health of my daughter. My daughter was diagnosed with a chronically ill autoimmune disease at the age of 13. She's 22 right now, and it just devastated our whole family. She's in remission right now, yay, and doing really well. But you know what? The thing for us is the products have really turned her life around. She is no longer on any medication. She had a medical marijuana license. We did not renew that for her because she doesn't need that anymore. She strictly works with Valentus products, uses every product consistently. And on top of that, she is also aware of making sure she gets enough sleep, things like that. So she's mature enough now that she can do all these things. And really, that's kind of what Valentus has allowed us to do. So, I'm really, really grateful.
Well, you know what? I think the thing that, again, buckets are important to pick up and nuggets and so on, but I think I love that term portable. I love the term being in a portable business is a big part of your why, the fact that you don't have to be attached to a situation where you've got to be connected to a company where they're keeping track of your productivity in a sense that you have to do it to be able to earn that paycheck. The term portable is an interesting why that I can relate to because, when I sold my company and I went into running a company that was on the New York Stock Exchange for the Canadian division that I'd sold to them, I became somebody who was so disconnected to my family that they, as Nancy described, didn't know who I was. When I'd come home, I was burnt out. I was just overwhelmed, and I'd sit down and say, I was fine. And I couldn't share with them. And I think the fact that you now are in a company that allows you to share as much as you did, and your video the other day when you put the canine in your mouth and you went on and had that fun, you turned into a puppy. Oh my God, it was so funny. And you know what? It worked. And it's allowing you to be who you want to be. And I think that's a great why, considering just how smiley and just how loving you are. Would that be a fair statement, Allison?
It is. Thanks very much, Don.
Yeah, it really is. Well, listen, I thank you for sharing that. And let's move on to our next planner here. And again, the impression I hope everybody's getting here is there's no right and wrong way to the proper plan. It's to get a connection. Figure out something that you can write. So what I'm writing down on my Allison Smith planning session is the term portable. I'm writing that down because I'm going to remind her at a later date. I promise you, I will remind her at a later date just how portable this business is and that we have to re-engage. And how many planning sessions did you do this week? And how many daily method of operation points did you earn this week? And let's take a look at where you got those points, and let's see if we could work on together making those points more accessible from some of the areas you're struggling with. And so that's the most important part when you look at the daily method of operation and the 14 points. What 1, 2, or 5 of those 14 points are you not doing? Well, obviously they're using the product, so they're getting points for that. But are they following up? Are they handing samples out? Are they doing curiosity posts? Are they doing some FaceTime lives and branding themselves? Are they going through the process of helping people really understand, that there is a better way in business, but you've got to develop yourself? So that was a great planning session, Allison. Thanks for sharing. So let's move on to our next planning session. And this is Blair and Faye Arnn, and I've unmuted you. Blair and Faye, you guys are just becoming just great friends for Nancy and I. You came from the Amway industry where you had worked 14 years in it, loved a lot of the training you went through, but the culture was something that you weren't, not that you had a bad feeling, you love the culture we have here in Valentus. So when we started to work on this planning session and really understanding, you guys along a daily method of operation, let me ask you this first question, Blair, because I know your answer will be something I'm going to want to share with everybody. How many points did you get on Wednesday or Thursday this week, Blair?
Oh, just hang on. On Wednesday, I had 57. On Thursday, 56.
And I had 45 and 35.
Okay, so as a team, as a couple combined, they had 90 points on each of those days. Now, let me just add this to this equation. How many business builders, joined your business this week, would you say?
Well, the ones last night will be all in today, so we probably had this week probably 7 or 8.
Okay, so let's talk. Let's go.
7 for sure, probably 8.
Okay, so let's go one step further. Those are individuals buying a business builder. Now let's go back before you started on this daily method of operation, tracking all your activity to be productive. Let's just ask this question. Did you have, in the last 6 months, 7 builders come in 3 days in your business?
No.
Not a hope.
Not a hope.
Okay. Now, as our good friend Ted Wilson says, success leaves clues. Now, do you think that the success of you now becoming an activity data-driven recorder of your activity is making you and your team more productive.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. And have you started to duplicate this over and over throughout the organization?
It's slowly working its way through. Yeah, we've got the people who are at the meeting here in Regina. They're all on board, and that's where we're getting the really good growth at. And now we're starting to move it out to the groups that are a little further a distance. But yeah, we've got we're starting to really you can't force anybody to do anything, but we're really strongly recommending that they have a Zoom planning session where I go through the PowerPoint and actually talk through it. It's a 20 to 30 minute discussion, but we're pushing it now. It's awesome.
Okay, awesome. Okay, good. Now we got that out of the way. I hope everybody on the call realizes just how powerful it is to do the tracking of the points, so that when we get together on the phone, we can share these points amongst each other. And you got to remember, the speed of the leader will be the speed of your group. And if you can show them that you have activity and you're keeping track of it, then they're going to start doing what you do. They will do what you do. So with that said, Blair Fay, could you share with us, why you need more time, why you need more money, and why you need better health? What is it about this journey in a couple of minutes that you could share with everybody on the call here?
Absolutely. I think I probably have more of the emotional part of it. Blair's kind of like, just let's do this, right? But I want to spend more time. We have 4 grandsons that are growing really quickly, and I want to be able to spend some time with them and they just went to Orlando on a trip, and we didn't get to go. So that's kind of sad. But that's really our big why, is our family. And we went through some financial challenges, and we have never disclosed anything to anybody. But you know what? We're just so thankful that Valentus has come along and given us this opportunity to just absolutely change our lives and change so many people's lives. And Don and Nancy, you guys are a lifeline to us. And that's really what this is all about, is being a lifeline to people and helping them change their lives, and being able to reach out and absolutely be a strong leader for all of those people that really want to pick up the pace and do what we need to do to change people's lives. Wow,
I'm tearing up. My friends used to make fun of me when I'd sing it. I'd cry at movies, and because I'm just a big suck and a big hug. But I love you to pieces, and spending 3 days in your home last week was important to me, because we made that further connection on aligning our whys, and the chance that you can spend time and go on that vacation with your family will be so important as you go forward. So that's very powerful, Faye. Thanks for sharing that. Blair, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think when we look at this, like we've done, like Faye said, we had a few challenges a while ago. We've done really well in the past, and I looked at it and said, you know what? To do what Allison said, the portable income, we're to the point where I'm looking that we want the income in place to retire, so we can retire being able to have time with the kids, to travel, be able to play golf, have good health. Those are the things that are really important to us. And Allison put a great idea of portability of income, and that's really what we want. And this is the way to go. And that's kind of the first goal, like Nancy said, when you first get in. My first goal was to help my gout. That's why we actually took a look at this in the first place, because the alkalining ability of the coffee. But that's where we are now. We want to have that portable income so we can travel, spend time, play some more golf, go sit in the beach, spend time with friends.
Well, you know what, guys, I appreciate you sharing and from your heart, as always, and it's obviously working, so let's just keep pushing ahead. Obviously, I know your diamond goal is coming real quickly here, but thanks for all you guys are doing for your team. It's just been amazing, so and the friendship you provide, Nancy and I. So thanks again, you two, for joining us. Okay, so... Thanks. Now, I've got Bob Bell on the line here, but I can't seem to see him here. Bob, if you could put *2 on your phone or wherever so I can see it go up. I can't find your number on my screen. I don't know why, where you are here. So I might not be able to call on you. So I'm going to go to Peggy DeSalle. So Peggy, you're a servant leader in this company, Peggy, and we talked this morning briefly, and yeah, I think you get the impression of what we're trying to do here on this call. Peggy, are you there just so you can say a quick hello?
I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can, perfectly.
Awesome.
So, I think the emotional connection that people make in their business is critical to the success that they will have on that journey. As I said in the training call yesterday, this is not a transactional sale business. If you think transactional, you will not have success long term it's about the relationships you build. And, Nancy and I have a great relationship with you and Mark to the point where we look forward to traveling and spending time together, just even outside of the business, just enjoying the company. But, when you hear those testimonials today on people sharing from their heart, and I got teary-eyed. I bet you did, because I know what you're like.
Totally. The big mush ball that I am.
So share with us, let's really get an idea from an emotional connection to you and Mark, but particularly you right now. Why do you need more time? Why do you need more money? And why do you need better health? And Valentus is that for so many people. Could you open up to us a little bit and just share with us a little from your heart?
Oh, well, I will try. I'm already so verklempt. I'm not even sure after listening to everybody's stories this morning. First of all, thank you, by the way. I love you and Nancy. We do have that heart connection. It is so special and so unique to have that in a company where people, I think of your kids as like my nieces and nephews. We do have that family heart connection, and that is so unique and unusual in a company. I've never had that in 15 years of doing this. And I'm so grateful and blessed every single day that we do have that. And I think that's the most special thing that we have here. But, everybody thinks, I don't think there's a person on this planet that doesn't need more time, more money, or better health. I don't care how successful a person is, or the rug can get pulled out from underneath somebody at any time without notice. And I've seen it happen to many friends of mine that are successful. I owned my own business for over 10 years that I ran. Mark and I've always kind of done separate things to divide and conquer. And I've literally worked full time my whole life, and so for me, my personal why is to be a little more selfish. As my kids leave the nest, I've got a couple of years of my son finishing up high school, and frankly, I do want to get a little selfish. I do want more time to be more portable. I love what Allison said. I'm going to use that. I've always used the word flexible, but I'm changing my word to portable, because I've always said, I can be flexible and do this anywhere. That's what I love the most about this industry. And I think most people have been tricked into thinking that going to work for a living is honorable, and that yet they don't think our industry is. And it's one of my missions to prove that theory wrong. I really do want to prove that this is a viable profession. I was sitting in a planning session with two of my local team members here just the other day in Seattle, and we were sitting in like a Panera Bread, and I could see that this lady was listening to everything that we were talking about, and she got very defensive. You could see in her whole body language that she knew, she was like, "Oh, that's one of those pyramid schemes." And I looked at her and I said, "Really?" I said, "Actually," I go, "What is a pyramid scheme?" And she couldn't answer me. So I said, "Well, if that's what you're looking for, that's not what this is."
Yeah.
But it was, I just want to bring the honorable side of our industry, to the world. That is my mission. I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but I think everybody needs more time. And, Mark and I are very, very busy all the time, and I really do want to be able to kind of shut down a little bit, and that's what this is going to afford us to do. And to have, and why do I need more money? Well, who doesn't want to be worry-free of the future and have a consistent income? Mark and I mean, it's like we've had good success in our lives. But we've never been in those situations where we have that weekly paycheck, because we've never been in traditional business. And so to have that consistent income is such a blessing for us. It's like, and then part of that, part of the other side of having more money, it allows me to be more charitable. I get to be philanthropic. That fills my cup. I specifically target children's charities, and that is so, I can't even, I'll start crying if I go into that whole thing. That is one of my passions, is to be able to be more philanthropic again. So, and
Peggy, And Peggy, when you're saying what you're saying, and you start working with your team to try to get them to open up to you, is the real key to this message this morning. Wouldn't you agree? Is just
absolutely.
The emotional connection. If somebody just writes a few things on paper and texts it to you, it doesn't mean as much as if they share it like you just did, which is, that little bit more selfish. That fact that I know who you are, I know you're a servant leader, I know you do lots for everybody, but the fact that you do stress that selfish word, but in a nice way. You want to spend the last couple of years with your kids, your kid that's home, to say, hey man, I want as much of you as I possibly can get of you. So this business has allowed me to be around you more, and thank God it's here, because it's a passion you have. So your why and the emotional connection, once again, for my wife Nancy, is the ability to be around our daughter and our son, and just have that ability while I'm out on building with her together. But that connection. Are you looking for that when you're doing your planning sessions now? Is that emotional connection that you can align yourself with your new person?
I think that's one of the things that is crucial. And you and Nancy have been such a good example of that. You don't really. This is business. Nobody ever wants to connect emotional to business. I mean, I think it's always been, you keep the emotional side out of business, and you guys have been a beautiful example of why it's actually extremely important to pull that component into business, because it really does make it more real and more human. And, business doesn't have to be, cold and heartless. And I think that is where that's where this business is very different than even traditional business, because it can get a little cold and heartless. I mean, it's like I hear all of my friends that are in, corporate America, traditional business, where they just get they just get abused and abused, and I really applaud you and Nancy for always reminding us that you should have that emotional connection in business. I think it's crucial.
And that's really the hug, isn't it? It's the hugging a better way. It's the hugging one cup at a time. It's ultimately the emotional connection you make with your person that's not a transactional person. It's not somebody you made 20, 40, 60, 100, or 200 off of. They are giving you a chance to get into their world. And as Jim Rohn said, it's a bridge. And so what we're doing is we're bridging between us and you. We're bridging between us and a future. We're bridging between us and opportunity and hope. And if we can get that bridge and we open up a path and we make sure that bridge is safe together through a planning session that allows us to align our whys, how could we fail, Peggy, right?
I agree. So thank you for setting that example and for paving the way for the rest of us too. I appreciate you and Nancy so much.
Oh, well, we love you. Nancy, I know if you're still there, you want to just say a quick goodbye?
Hey, Peggy.
I think I'm muted. I'm going, am I muted? Because if not, then me and my niece have been having a great conversation here. But no, we do. We love you guys. Thank you.
Well, listen, everyone, wonderful Sunday ahead of you. Enjoy the rest of your day. And next Sunday, we'll bring on a few more people to share their planning whys with you. And I hope this resonates with you, how to do this with your team now. Go out there and let's get a connection, folks. Have a great day and have a wonderful Sunday. Thanks, Peggy. Thanks, Allison. Thanks, Blair. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.